is State Bicycle's new 4130 fixed gear / single speed bicycle in the matte olive color. Now they've sent me this bike from America here to the UK, so first of all, thank you State Bicycle for sending me this bike to review here on the channel. So let's start off with the specs. So this is a size 55 frame. This is the one that State Bicycle themselves recommended me, as I'm about 5'10", 5'11" in height. Now the color that we've chosen is the matte olive color. On the website it does show an array of different colorways that you could choose from. I myself just find this more aesthetically pleasing. The frame itself is a 4130 chromoly double butted steel frame, which means it is quite heavy, but it can take some abuse. The frame itself has been TIG welded, and it's got this new wishbone feature on the back to allow for bigger, chunkier tires. And of course we've got the flip-flop hub on the rear, so you could either have the 16-tooth freewheel single speed on that side, or you could go for the 16-tooth fixed cog on the other side. As for the wheels, we've obviously got the 700C wheels with the drilled 40mm high flange sealed bearing hubs. As for the crankset, we've got a 46-tooth chainring in the middle with 170 crank arms. Now, many of you know that for the velodrome, you need 165 crank arms, so this is no good for the track. At the front, you've got two choices for handlebars. I've gone with the all-road gravel flared drop bars, and of course the other choice would be the riser bars. And of course we've got a pair of brakes right here. Everything else you see on the bike comes with the complete bike, except from the ass saver and the nog light. Those things I've added myself. Now the bike itself weighs a 23 pounds approximately, depending on what package you've gone for. And of course it does come with the reflectors and stuff like that. As you know, all bicycle companies must supply your bike with reflectors and brakes and stuff like that to be road legal. It is then up to you if you want to go ahead and take those off. Just a touch flooded here on the island. Time for my review. Now, I've been riding this bike on and off for a few months now, so I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of this bike, and I can give a fair opinion, right? First things first, this bike itself comes as a complete bike, whereas normally in the past what I like to do is like get the frame first or get the wheel set first and then build on the bike, but this itself is a complete bike. I haven't changed anything because I want to give the whole bike its own review. Let's start with the positives. To me, this is an aesthetically pleasing bike. It looks nice. The color that I've chosen looks great. There are some colors on their website which are, to me, a little bit hit and miss, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I quite like this one. It's quite simple, sleek, nice, great. The other things that I like with this bike is the shapes. If you look at the front, I've never really seen a fork like that. Maybe on a leader frame. I might have seen this on a leader frame before, but just the look of it, the shapes, the way they've done the tubing, I like it. The same goes with the wishbone at the back. I've never actually seen that before. The cutout parts of the dropouts, they look nice. Yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me. The other thing I like is on the seat tube and the down tube, we've got two options for adding water bottle holders, which I quite like, because I think when State Bicycle first brought out this 4130, it only had one water bottle cradle thing. I think they've listened to their customers and they've added a second water bottle holder. Now I'm currently in a position in life where I'm looking for an adventure bike. I know adventure bike sounds super cringe, but it's true. I'm looking for something that can do it all. And I think this might just be it. You could take it to the city on the streets, you could take it off-road on gravel tracks and cycle paths. It seems like it's an all-rounder. Another thing that I quite like is that you can clearly see that State Bicycle have thought about people that want to add things on, like a front basket or a front rack or panniers, bottle holders, all that kind of stuff. You could potentially add some frame bags and stuff like that. You could kit this thing out to the max. Now, in my opinion, this is probably the best thing about this bicycle as a complete bike is, of course, the tire clearance. Now, it comes with 700 by 38C tires as standard, which is pretty big. Back in the day, it was all about having 23C tires, maybe 25, maybe 28. These come with 38 as standard. And it's still, you've got room for probably 45C tires if you wanted to go that way. Maybe you wanted to put some knobbly tires on there, I don't know. But this, to me, is quite impressive on a bike with 700C wheels. Now, if you're new to this YouTube channel, you should know that it is all about truck camping, getting outdoors and doing outdoor activities and traveling and stuff like that. But if you've been here for long enough, you'll know that this channel used to be called 63 Fixed TV, where I myself went around with all my friends riding fixed gear bikes, and it was all, yeah, fixed gear till I die, ride or die sort of thing. So for anybody who's been watching this channel since the beginning, you'll know that I've been religiously riding fixed gear, only fixed gear bicycles. But I think that is about to change. Now, the reason why I say that is because for this bike, the weight, the chunky tires, the drop bars, the uncomfortable saddle, I think this rides better as a single speed. I know it sounds like I'm going soft, but I just think riding this as a fixed gear, it just doesn't do it for me. So this is where we move on to the things that I would change about this bike to make it better. All right, this is my opinion, and it's very important that you realize this is my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. This is mine, and this is what I would change to the bike to fit my needs. I would go for the riser bars, but a wider riser bar. I would change the saddle to something a bit more comfortable. I would take off the cheap pedals and maybe go for something a bit fatter, a chunkier BMX pedal. I'd also make sure the BMX pedals have a big hole so you can fit foot straps through there, should I choose to flip the wheel and ride it as a fixed gear bike. And I don't know if this is an American thing. When I want to pull the brake to stop the front wheel, you would use your right hand, right? No, it's actually the left brake lever right here. Whereas I'm used to my left hand pulling the brake for the rear of the bike, which is really strange, and it took me a while to get used to it. But yeah, that's just how the bike came with those drop bars as well. But yeah, I would go for the riser bar and potentially just have one brake because it's lower maintenance, and I'd go for the front or the rear. I wouldn't have both. The other thing that I noticed, which was, I don't know, it didn't really bother me that much, but if you look on the frame here, we've got these little things which are part of the frame, which carry the cable for the rear brake. Now, if you wanted to take the rear brake off, you are left with these little metal things poking out of the frame. You could, of course, just saw those off and file them down, but then, of course, I don't know what you'd be left with. You'd have to patch that up. But yeah, I don't like that. The other thing that I don't really like about this bike is the gear ratio. Now, I'm used to charge plugs back in the day. They had a 42 tooth with a 16 cog on the back. This is a 46 tooth cog on the crankset. And if I'm honest with you, it is quite difficult when it comes to the slightest incline of a hill. It's not that easy to start off cycling compared to a charge plug. But, you know, it does all right. You can get your cadence or flow and you'll be all right. If it was me, I would have had a 42 tooth here or a 44, not a 46. Now, on the theme of making this bike better, what I may end up doing in the future is fully kitting this bike out to be that adventure bike, meaning I change the handlebars for some riser bars, get a comfier saddle, change the pedals, and add maybe some frame bags and some panniers or racks of some sort, and really turn this into an adventure bike, enough so I can potentially go off with a one-man tent and a sleeping bag and all the gear and no idea, and go off into the sunset and just, you know, create a little adventure. All in all, this is quite a solid bike, literally as well. It is a solid bike. Like I said, I've been using it for quite a while now and I haven't had anything go wrong. The only thing that's happened is we've got a little tear here in the saddle, which is fine because it's trash. Once again, I would like to say a massive thank you to State Bicycle for sending me this from America. This is the second bike they've sent me now. The first one, if you remember, was the Black Label 2, which was a beautiful bike. And this is the State Bicycle 4130 as a complete bike. Thank you for sending it to me. Thank you for letting me review it here on my channel to my audience. I'm excited to see what adventures I can get out of it in the future, and I'm excited to see what I can sort of transform it and make it more my own. For me personally, getting used to using brakes again was kind of weird, as well as coasting. That was a whole other ball game, but after using it a few times, I kind of like it for this bike. I still ride a fixed gear bike. I still got my charge plug, which I'll always use as a fixed gear, but this I think I'm going to keep as a single speed and just have it as like a leisurely adventure bike. I know I keep saying adventure bike, but that's what it is. It is an adventure bike. If you've got one of these bikes at home, then please comment below what your thoughts are on it, what your opinions after riding on it, what experiences have you had, and what changes would you make on this bike? Or if you're thinking about buying one of these, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Give it a little thumbs up if you got anything out of it, and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.